Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to make sense of what companies are really saying, and today we're diving into Midland States Bancorp's latest paperwork. They've got some important shareholder votes to report, and let's just say the results are in and some things are looking pretty solid, while others, well, we'll get to that. Before we begin, if you love decoding these financial secrets like we do, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and you absolutely want to be part of our community for more insights. So join our Discord server, the link is in the description below. Alright, let's jump right in. This report covers events on August 4th, 2025, talking about the company's annual shareholder meeting. We're looking at how their shareholders voted on some key company decisions. Think of it as a shareholder town hall that got put into official documents. First up, the election of directors. This is super important because these are the people steering the ship. Shareholders voted on 3 nominees for the board, and the results here are interesting. For Ardeen Bingham, a good chunk of votes were in favour, but there were also a significant number of against votes, and even more abstentions and broker non-votes. Broker non-votes basically mean that the shares were held by a broker and the broker didn't receive specific instructions from the actual owner, the shareholder, on how to vote. It happens, but a lot of them can tell a story. Jerry L. McDaniel saw even more votes against and abstentions, and Jeffrey M. McDonald got a pretty overwhelming number of 4 votes. This signals that shareholders might have more confidence in certain leaders than others, which is pretty normal, but it's good to see how people voted. Next, we have the say on pay proposal. This is where shareholders give their opinion as a sort of advisory vote or recommendation on how the company pays its top executives. It's not legally binding, but companies usually pay attention. Midland States Bancorp presented the compensation for their key officers, and the shareholders overwhelmingly approved it, with a massive number of 4 votes compared to against and abstentions. This suggests that, at least for now, the shareholders are happy with how the company's leadership is being compensated. Following that is the say on frequency proposal. This one asks shareholders how often they want to vote on the executive compensation, whether they prefer to vote every year, every 2 years, or every 3 years. The results here show a very strong preference for an annual vote. A huge majority voted for the 1-year option. This means the company will stick to holding these advisory votes on executive pay every year. It shows shareholders want a regular check-in on how their money is being spent on the people running the show. And finally, we have the auditor ratification. This is where shareholders approve who is going to check the company's financial books for the next year, making sure everything is counted correctly and reported honestly. In this case, shareholders very positively ratified Crowe LLP as their independent registered public accounting firm for 2025. The 4 votes absolutely dwarf the against and abstentions, indicating strong confidence in the chosen auditors. This is a vital step in ensuring transparency and trust in the company's financial reporting. Now, looking beyond the votes, the filing also reminds us of the company's publicly traded shares. They have their common stock listed under the symbol MSBI on the Nasdaq market LLC, and also their depository shares, which represent a piece of their preferred stock, under the symbol MSBP, also on Nasdaq. This gives us a snapshot of how the company is structured in terms of its public ownership. Midland States Bancorp itself is a financial services company based in Illinois. They offer banking, wealth management, and insurance services. Understanding this context helps us interpret the shareholder decisions we just looked at. They're navigating a financial landscape that's always changing, so these shareholder meetings are crucial for aligning the company's strategy with what its owners expect. So to wrap it up, the shareholder meeting showed clear support for the board members who got strong 4 votes, and very strong approval for executive compensation and annual pay votes. The auditor's appointment also received widespread backing. It appears that for the most part, the shareholders are on board with how Midland States Bancorp is being run and compensated. However, those broker non-votes in the director elections are something to keep an eye on. In future filings, they might indicate a segment of shareholders who are not as actively engaged, or perhaps have some underlying concerns that aren't being directly voiced. In my opinion, Midland States Bancorp seems to be in a stable place based on these voting results. The overwhelming support for say on pay and the auditor's ratification signals good corporate governance practices and shareholder confidence in the current leadership and financial oversight. The board elections indicate a mixed but generally positive sentiment with strong support for some directors. The company's direction seems to be one of continuity, with shareholders favouring consistent approaches to executive compensation and financial audits. One notable risk to consider would be how the company plans to address the broker non-votes in future elections as increased shareholder engagements. The company direction seems to be one of continuity, with shareholders favouring consistent approaches. The company's direction seems to be one of continuity, with shareholders favouring consistent approaches to executive compensation and financial audits. One notable risk to consider would be how the company plans to address the broker non-votes or abstained. Overall, the report paints a picture of a company with solid shareholder approval on key governance and compensation matters. Alright, that's our breakdown of Midland States Bancorp's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to get the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.